Good afternoon. Hi, this is Austin Thompson with Thompson Management Consulting. As you can see, it's a beautiful afternoon, so I definitely wanted to have another conversation outside in the elements. I love being outside. I love being outdoors. It really brings a whole new refreshing feeling to the conversation I'm about to have with you. And today I wanted to discuss something with you concerning collaborations and partnerships. This is a conversation I had with a consultant not too long ago, and we were discussing the importance of collaborations and partnerships, and if a specific person, how do you know if that person is right for you in terms of a partnership? Now here's the ticker, right? So we're talking about married couples, okay? If a husband has a business idea, should he involve his wife? If a wife has an idea, should she involve her husband? Right? It's always a tricky question, because we all know, right? We all know we've been involved in these situations before. We had great business ideas. We've had great opportunities to start a business and move forward with a business idea. But do I really want to involve my wife? Says the husband. And do I really want to involve my husband? Says the wife. Right? And it's not even married couples. What about siblings, right? If you have sisters, do you see an opportunity to have a sister involved in your business venture? Huh? If you are a sister, all right, do you see the opportunity or the benefits of involving your brother, right? And it's not even about just married couples or siblings. What about cousins? What about, if you're in a fraternity, right? Do you have a frat brother? Or if you're in a sorority, do you have a soror, right? A sorority sister, or a good friend, an old buddy from back in the day. You guys have been in contact with each other. You've been connected. You've done things together. You've done so much together as friends. And here comes this business idea, and I want to involve my friend because I think we would make good business partners and collaborate on an idea. Well, here's the thing, right? There's no yes or no to this answer. You basically have to ask yourself some honest questions. You really have to know the person whom you're considering, right, for this partnership. And I've come up with five questions that you should ask yourself as a business owner. 5 questions, 5 honest questions, because you got to be honest. If you are not honest whether this individual is good or bad for your business or for the partnership, then down the road you might end up in a sticky situation, and you'll have to make some hard decisions down the road. But you want to prevent that. You want to prevent that down the road situation, making that hard decision, and you want to ask yourself 5 honest questions, right? So number 1, here's the number 1 thing that you should ask yourself. How well do you know the individual? How well do you know the individual? The temperament of the individual, the patience of the individual, the business acumen, right? You've got to ask yourself this tough question. It's a tough question because you really love the individual. You guys have a great relationship. If you're a spouse, and if you're a husband and this is your wife, if you're a wife and this is your husband, you two are married for better or worse. You're building this life together as a husband and wife. You have children. You bought the big house. You've got the 2-car garage, the picket fence, the American dream, right? But is that spouse the right person for you? And do you really know that spouse? If you're a husband, wow, she's a great wife. She's great with the children. She's a great supporter, right? But is she right as a business partner? And the wives, you got to ask yourselves that same question of your husbands. I have been consulting for over 10 years now. And I am always happy when I see a husband and wife come to me and sit before me and to talk about building a business together. That's great. It's wonderful. But I don't always experience those situations. I don't always have those experiences. I will have an individual come with me, and you know, if it's a man, he'll mention his wife. If it's a wife, she'll mention her husband, and or so on and so forth. And I'll say, hey, is your spouse in business with you? And the person would say, no, you know, he has his own thing going, or she has her own thing going. And that's great. That's wonderful, because here is a couple who've decided we can't build a business together, right? And it's best that you ask yourself that question: how well do you know that individual, and is this individual right for me in a business collaboration or in a business partnership? Okay. The second question: would the person make a good business partner? Would the person make a good business partner? Right? We've gone from, okay, how well do you know the individual, to now, would that person make a good, effective business partner? Is that person, you know, is that person responsible enough? Does that person really understand or even have the passion for being an entrepreneur? Being an entrepreneur is not a skill or an attribute one has that you can grow organically if you're not interested, or if you really don't understand the hard work it takes to build a business. Okay? Being an entrepreneur, it takes grit, it takes concentration, it takes focus, it takes determination. You've got to have a passion, right? And if you're building a business together with that person has to see eye to eye with you and help you grow that business. Okay? What about strengths and weaknesses? All right? We all have strengths and weaknesses. I have strengths, I have weaknesses. Okay? In terms of skill sets, right? And in previous videos, we talk about the SWOT analysis, right? Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Now, here's an opportunity for you to look at your strengths, okay? Your strength as a business owner. What is it that you do well, okay? What is it that you do well? And the person you are considering for partnership, what does that person do well? And you also have to look at, okay, what do I struggle with? Okay, some people, they're great at numbers. They're great at the quantitative side of business, dealing with the numbers, dealing with books, so on and so forth, the accounting side. But they are not that well with on the social side. They don't do well in social settings. They don't do well dealing with people, like customer relations, because you always, as an entrepreneur, as a micro business owner, as a solopreneur, you are always in the face of your market, right? So you may not come across well to individuals. So you have to look and see if that partner or that collaborator, right, has that skill. And if that person is strong at that skill or has that attribute, that is something that you can determine and differentiate between you and the person with whom you are thinking of going into collaboration. Okay? You have to look at, okay, I'm good at numbers, I'm good at the books and doing the accounting. This person is great at web development, maintaining the technical aspect of the business, great at social media. So here's a strength my business partner has, which is a weakness for me. And the numbers and the accounting is a strength for me, where it is a weakness for my business partner. You get it? So you got to ask yourself that important question. That's number 3. Number 4, we want to look at the values and responsibilities, right? What values does that person have? Does that person really value independence? Does that person value hard work? Being an entrepreneur, it ain't a 9 to 5, okay? Really, it isn't. You're maybe up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then you're up till midnight, till 1 in the morning. I know personally, right? Because you are grinding, you are planning, you are building those relationships, you're performing whatever function you have to perform as an entrepreneur. So you want to make sure that, you know, that person values hard work. that person understands that being an entrepreneur and managing a small business is not a 9 to 5, okay? It is not a 9 to 5. It is more like a 5 a.m. to 12 midnight, kind of deal, right? And is that person responsible enough? Can that person handle the responsibilities of a partnership, handle his or her part of the deal, okay? Because you're doing a split down the middle. You're handling 50% of the responsibilities, and that person has to be responsible for his or her 50% of the deal, okay? What that person value, and is that person responsible enough? So you got to ask yourself that question, right? If you were a customer, ask yourself this: if you were a customer, would you do business with your partner? Would you? If you had a bricks and mortar and you walked into that bricks and mortar, the person who you're considering to collaborate with, would you be easy and comfortable with that individual providing the service to you as a business owner? You got to ask yourself that. Would you do business with your partner? Or would you do business with the person with whom you're collaborating? You got to ask yourself that question, okay? So that's the fifth question. And you really have to be honest, right? I've had some colorful conversations about husbands and wives going into business together. I've sat with husbands and wives, at business meetings, and the husband would say, yeah, this is my thing. I'm kind of dragging her along. She seems to be interested. I don't know, but we will see. Okay, all right. But you got to really know, is your wife interested in the business idea and the business model that you are bringing forward into this conversation, right? Because if you're sort of dragging her along, maybe she's not really interested, and vice versa. If the wife is dragging the husband along because for the wife, this is your passion. This is what you want to do. This is your dream. This is your baby. Right? You want to birth this idea, and you want to see the evolution of this idea turn into something tangible and successful and lucrative for you. But you're dragging your husband along because you want your husband to be in business with you. He doesn't really show any interest. Yeah, I've been involved in those conversations before. I've sat with two brothers. I've sat with I've sat with gentlemen with their husbands. I've sat with ladies with their wives. We have to look at being honest when we're going into a relationship with someone, when we have a marriage or we're in a relationship with someone, whether that partner or that spouse is right for you as a partner. Okay, same thing with siblings. Same thing with cousins. Same thing with frat brothers and sorority sisters. Just because that person is great, to hang out with, and you got each other's back, he or she might not be the right person for you in terms of a business partnership. All right. So we got to ask ourselves these honest questions. And I tell you, these conversations have been really colorful. They're not easy because you may like someone. You naturally like your spouse, of course. That's why you married him or married her, right? You naturally like your sibling. You naturally like your family member. You and your frat brother, y'all down for it. Your sorrows, y'all do so many things for the sorority and for your organization. Or friends. If you're good friends from childhood and you grew up together and you guys are cool, but can you do business together? And this is the honest question you must have at the forefront, right? And not at the back end, because you don't want to spend, 3, 4, 5, 6 months down the road, a year, 2 years down the road, and discover that, okay, this person really is not a good partner for me. So I've got to end this business relationship. And if that person is honest and responsible, he or she would say, look, this I'm not feeling this. I know this is your thing. You take it and run with it, and I'll support you, away from any management duties, right? Because a true friend, someone who really appreciates you, will tell you honestly, I'm not really interested in running a business. I'm not really interested in entrepreneurship. I like my 9 to 5, but I'll support you any way I can. All right. So number one, how well do you know the individual? All right. Would this person, number two, would this person make a good business partner? Right. Number three, look at the strengths and weaknesses. What are your strengths and weaknesses? What is that person's strengths and weaknesses? And it doesn't have to be a two-person collaboration. It could be a collaboration with 3 people. All right. So look, number three, look at the strengths and weaknesses. Number four, is the person responsible? And what are the values? What does that person value or those individuals value? All right. And number five, if you were the customer, if you were the client, right, would you do business with your partner or partners? Are they individuals that you would feel comfortable doing business with? Okay. So ask yourself those 5 questions before you go into any type of collaboration or partnership with anyone. Because remember, in previous discussions, we talked about branding, right? The brand of the business depends on the individuals, the brand of the individual and what the individual values, okay? So this is Austin Thompson with Thompson Management Consulting. I really hope you enjoyed this video and the content and the message that I brought to you today. It's a beautiful day outside. Unfortunately, I have meetings I have to go off to, so, you know, that's the life of an entrepreneur. Remember, 5 a.m. to like 12 midnight, you never rest. So, hey, if you really like this video, I want you to like it. And of course, I want you to share it. Please leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. All right. I will have other videos that I'm bringing to you, other discussions I'm bringing to you, and I want us to build that relationship. So please subscribe, like, leave a comment, and share with your network. Don't be stingy. Share the video. All right. Thank you so much. You all have a great afternoon. Goodbye.